First, I definitely salute Comrade Sengodi alongside the other 19 people in India who have laid their lives for the cause of the Tamils in general. But I do completely agree on what Comrade Rajan mentioned in relation to self-immolation. I think while we salute the camaraderie, the show of solidarity to the extreme level that Sengudi, Muthukumar and many others have put forward, but definitely we need to understand that that's not the act that we need to follow. That is not the way of struggle that we need to put forward for the future generations of strugglers, for not only for Tamil cause, Tamilism, but for any cause for the emancipation of the working people and the ordinary people of the world. Before I go to the issue that I have been asked to, I think my comrade Balaji and Rajan Ayya have explained in detail both the theoretical aspects of why we are assembled here today, and also the question of the death penalty itself, which I think to every nook and corner of the issue Comrade Balaji has gone into. Yesterday, just before I came here, I received a mail from Sri Lanka. As many of you know, I'm a bit intrinsically linked with the Sri Lankan politics, both in relation to the question of the struggle that happens in the north and the east of Sri Lanka, but also in the south of Sri Lanka. So yesterday, my comrades from the United Socialist Party sent me a mail, which I would like to share with you first, and then go on to the other aspects of today's meeting. My friend Sritunga Jayasuriya, the General Secretary of the Socialist Party, sent me this mail, which is very disturbing. The title of the mail is Question for Lighting a Fire. I will just read what he has sent. A Catholic priest who narrowly survived the final phase of the war in Sri Lanka has been questioned by the Terrorism Investigation Division over a book of Tamil poetry he wrote called Uyil Padivu, which literally translates as life records. The priest was allowed to be accompanied by a colleague and was questioned on Wednesday, this just before, 2 days ago, by 3 officials from Terrorism Investigation Division, TID, in the Jaffna's Bishop's house. The interrogation focused on aerial bomb attacks on churches and schools that the priest witnessed during the last months of the war in 2009 and wrote about in his poems in Uyil Padivu. The significance of an aerial bombing is that it can only have been carried out by Sri Lankan government forces, as they were the only ones with supersonic KFIR jets, whereas the direction of artillery of shelling can be more difficult to prove. TID also questioned the priest about poetry that mentioned the erection of a few of new Buddha statues along the main highway of the A9 through the former conflict zone. This is part of a post-war civilization and militarization of traditionally Tamil areas. 3 school principals in Kilinochchi have also been questioned by the TID over the book, and others in the region are being summoned for questioning. This is what the latest mail that I have received from my friends in Sri Lanka. Comrades, this is very this is very disturbing. I mean, we all assume or we imagine that we live in a democratic world. In Sri Lanka, like India, every week or even twice a week, some elections go on in Sri Lanka. In one village or one municipality or in one province or the other. Like India, see, you can just count some village panchayat or some by-election is happening in India even today, even this moment. Some must be happening. So that way we are all in a very kicking democracy. In fact, literally it is kicking all of us. But look at the situation that a priest, a Catholic priest, known for very peaceful activity, wrote a poem called, in a poetry collection called Uyir Padivu, in which he explained the aerial bombing that took place in 2009, and then very many other poems, just in relation to what he witnessed. He was one of the survivors of the 2009 war, who was in Jaffna all the time, the bishop of Jaffna, in the bishop quarters of Jaffna. And he, today, the TID, the Terrorism Investigation Department, or the division, which is very notorious in Sri Lanka, has summoned him, questioning him on the publication of Uyir Padivu. And this is the level and this is the quality of democracy that our brothers and sisters in Sri Lanka, especially the Tamils in Sri Lanka, are enjoying or suffering. That's left to the world to quantify or qualify it as suffering or enjoying. That's one hand. At the same time, as Rajan Ayya pointed out, that here we are in a situation that on the one hand, Tamils are considered as warrior race for various reasons, not from a point of view of something to pat on our backs. In fact, in Karnataka, we are considered as troublemakers. We are branded as troublemakers. These people, like Muslims, cannot remain happy. They are never happy with what they have. They will create problems. Because, historically you can say, whether it is a workers' movement or a radical movement or any movement which questions the authority has come, especially in Karnataka, the origins of it has come, right origins, rights origins has come from some of the pioneers of the movement. They have invariably it has come from the Tamil community. That's for record's sake. So anybody who is asking for a right which is enshrined in the constitution of this country is considered as a troublemaker, and we are troublemakers. We will be happy, we will be proud to create that kind of trouble for the rest of our lives. We will be creating trouble. There is no question about it. I do agree on what Rajan mentioned. There are three different fights that we are all involved in. One is the question of the rights of the Elamites in Sri Lanka. We are all in support with. There's no question. There's another question, the nationality question within the country itself, and the nationality issue of the Tamils themselves in this so-called Indian Union. That's another second question. We may have a couple of differences, different emphasis on that particular issue, but we are all concerned about the nationality question, and we are not the only nationality which is under under the Indian Union, which is suffering. There are many nationalities, and Tamils, in the recent past at least, that we have found a common cause with the struggling nationalities of the country today. I mean, of course, the nationality question, the struggle for nationality question is a very age-old struggle. I mean, as Lenin pointed out in his National Question book, like the Soviet Union, India is a prison house of nations. You know, there are many nations within India which is suffering in a prison house. India is a prison house of nations. In such a context, I think the question of as Balaji pointed out, the question of for which Sengudi gave her life, you know, I want to clarify. I mean, I understand when Rajanaya went to that particular commune where he rightfully raised the issue, and they also gave back the answer. That also gives you a picture of the political vacuum in this country, which forced young people like Muthu Kumar and Sengudi to give their lives. It's an act of desperation that, you know, look around the so-called communist parties, which should have stood solidly behind the nationality question, are the watchdogs of the Indian nation today. In 1956, when the constitution of this country took out the right of self-determination from the Indian constitution itself, the communist parties also changed their very party program, and they became watchdogs of the Indian oppressive constitution in this country. So when such is the situation, when there is no organizational setup to support the cause of nationality and even to fight for the rights within so-called imaginary union, I think that the Sengudis and Muthukumars and many others have found that there is no other way other than attracting the attention of the world outside, other than self-immolation. I salute them for that. At least they attracted the world attention towards the issue of what the Tamils in this country are facing, or the oppressed minorities and oppressed nationalities are facing in this country. While saying so, as Balaji pointed out in his final remarks, that the struggle against the Tamil tree, Perarivalan, Shantan, Murugan, today is not just a struggle against the death penalty that has been accorded to these three. It has gone beyond that. In fact, I must congratulate the May 17 movement, which is a fraternal movement with whom I am attached with. I am part of it. It has really given a wider scope to the question of the death penalty itself, the way they took it up, the issue in relation to Afzal Guru, the way they found a common cause with the Sikh community in this country. I think the question of death penalty has gone beyond the boundaries of just a Tamil cause. I think we need to look at the question of death penalty from a very different point of view. I think we have a very strategic point. The strategic point to question the very so-called democratic nature of India itself in the so-called Committee of Democratic Nations of this world. If India, I mean, let us not take into account the present dispensation led by Modi and BJP, that's another part that we need to come to. The Tamils have a different fight against the BJP's Modi's Moditwa, Hindutva, what we call. But the question to question the Indian state within the so-called, because India is a very largest democracy. The moment the question of India comes, the world, so-called the established world, whether it is America or Japan or US, UK or Europe, India is a democratic country. Every day there is an election going on. Every 5 years there is an election that happens. Some people even feel some of my very close friends, very radical friends, they think that the election of Modi is just another change of God. Maybe if he does something wrong, he will be changed in the next 5 years. It's an ordinary fact, but I don't consider so. It's not that. It's not that. The way Modi is posing himself, or Modi is positioning himself, or the RSS is positioning itself by using Modi in this particular context. And also, mind you, even the 13-day regime of Vajpayee laid the seeds in the Indian state, or in the what you call the executive, for a future 13-day, 13-month period, and also later the 4 or the 5 years regime of BJP in the garb of very democratic, so-called cow-faced Vajpayee. I think all the brutal seeds for a future government was laid at that time. Even now, of course, there's enough brutality already shown by Modi's regime in the first 100 days itself, but things are yet to come. The real brutality is yet to come. So in such a situation, this question of Tamil 3 being released, being repealed, is a very strategic fight for us. I mean, we had almost touched. Some of us even thought that Amma will come to our rescue and she will do the magic wand to somehow convince with her arm twisting tactics with the Indian establishment. She will somehow get the release of the 3. But Indian state is Indian state. Let us not be very confused. Indian state is a very brutal state. Though it has got an age of 68 years, 10 years more than me, but it's a very brutal state. And it used every trick. Yeah, I mean, the kind of build-up that was given to the Perarivalan, Shantan Murugan's case at that particular point, world thought that the first time these 3 will be released. Most of the people, even some of the very questioning minds within the movement itself thought, yes, we have won, we may get it, but that did not happen. And that shows the difficulty of the coming future in getting the victory. It's not a question. I mean, I will be the happiest guy, or many of us, including Ayya and everybody, we will be the happiest people if Shantan Murugan and Perarivalan are released and they are allowed to live normal life. But that's not going to be very easy. It's not going. Let us face the truth in its face. It's going to be a bitter fight. And to achieve that, we cannot go on self-immolation. We need to find a common cause, and we need to find a mass movement. We need to build a mass movement on the issue of the death penalty itself, within this country and outside this country. We have to find who are our allies. I mean, Rajan Ayya gave a very clarion call. I mean, he said, those who are parliamentary parties, those who are not parliamentary parties, those who are fighting for the total revolution or whatever, we want everybody. We need to find a way to reach those people and say that, this is a very important, it will be a proof if we are going to achieve the question of the release of the Tamil 3 in the coming days. It will be a proof, and we should challenge the Indian so-called democratic state. That will be the litmus test for you to say that you have entered the 21st century democratic, modern democratic world. Release them, because as my friend Balaji said, they were not even members. If we even take the argument that the LTT was behind the assassination of Rajiv Gandhi, I mean, I don't think so, because I mean, even that is a very questionable thing, whether the LTT itself was I mean, my friend Sri Swami has got many questions to answer. I mean, when I say Sri Swami, it is Subramanian Swami. I mean, Sakade Swami is the, I mean, for me, he is the real culprit, like the Chandra Swami. I mean, fortunately or unfortunately, he is dead. But this Sri Swami is still alive, and he has got many questions to answer. So, for us, it's a long battle, and it will be a battle where we can find allies, whether it is the Sikhs or that woman who is sitting for the 14th year fast, a democratic struggle that is taking place in Imphal under the eyes of the Indian army, who was recently, there was a drama of releasing her, and the next 2 days she was again rearrested. I think we have got many allies, and I feel, you know, I mean, some of us, you know, whether it is Rajan Ayya or many others, you know, Arun or the later day joiners to the struggle movement, you know, we feel sometimes very pain, you know. I mean, not only that, there are, I mean, for example, on the July, Black Day, July 1983 day, how many of us were there in that protest? I mean, we take a lot of efforts to organize that, even on Sundays, just to make convenient for others to come. But how many of us ourselves make it a point to come? We give up all our work. You know, some of the organizers, we take it so seriously, we don't get even sleep for 2 or 3 days before the event. But I mean, however good speakers we are, however good organizers we are, but yet, unless we have numbers on the streets, we will not be in a position to achieve our struggles. I mean, Rajan Ayya was correct in saying that I think Bangalore has a record, apart from all other Tamil Nadu counterparts, Tamil Nadu fighters who gave a vociferous support to the Elam struggle. I think Bangalore can be proud to say that we were in the forefront of supporting, or we were in the forefront of coming in solidarity with our Elam brothers during the war, and even before the war, and even after the war. We have got that. We have got that our pride. It's one thing to clap, but our fight is not over. We have got many fights that we have to fight. So I mean, we feel very pain when young people. I mean, I think today, with all the efforts of the May 17 movement and the Kata money, and of course, we are also part of this thing, but I must be very honest, we did not have much in preparation of this particular meeting, but my comrades, both Arun and Balaji, were fully into this particular event. But we should have filled this hall, this particular small room we should have filled. Where is it? I mean, of course, many people may feel that Tamils know everything. Tamils know about the Peradivalan Shantan Murugan. Tamils know about methane extraction in Tanjavur belt, Kaveri belt. Tamils know about Sengodi. We have read, we have written poetry. But no, these things make us feel that our struggle is still far ahead, far in the distance. We have to cross many miles, many hundreds miles that we have to cross to reach our goal. So we need to fill this hall. We need to fill. I mean, look at the Gaza protest. We called for a Gaza protest on the 17th of July. There were 2,500 people on that day. I mean, we just created an event, and within a matter of few days, even this Facebook, it reached more than 2,000 people, and 2,500 people came. I was a bit conservative in estimating, because I didn't want to brag myself and say that, look, we had a big protest. But it was the secret police who called me. There's one Varadarajan. He called me, and he said, the police department was astonished by that particular, Muslims do come for protest, but when a non-Muslim organization, a forum gives the call, such a massive protest, and he mentioned that in the police records, it is 2,500 to 3,000. I mean, it's very good, but we need to have that kind of protest. I mean, we have faced quite a bit of a problem. My friend from, what's your name? I forget. Yeah, Saravanan the other day mentioned, saying that, I was told that your organization, the New Socialist Alternative, is likely to be banned. I mean, we don't care. I mean, we are always a banned organization. I don't care about that. Whether it is, when do you think that the people who have questioned the state, they have been welcomed? Oh, very good, you are doing very good. Nobody, none of us will be. I will take it as a pride if I am banned. I'm doing something right. I think I'm doing something right. My organization is doing something right if I am in the banned list. If I am not in the banned list, then there's something that I need to do better. So, and that's the way we think, we should think. But, like the Gaza protest, I mean, one thing, I can understand the way the Gaza protest was held was not the right thing. There was a bit of almost a clash between the Sunnis and Shias, and police came and said that, there may be a problem, you have to close the meeting and other things. Even some of the Muslim leaders later said, what happened was quite bad, and we are very sorry. And I said, no, you need not feel sorry. I mean, some of the youth, today we should have got one young guy. Both Arun and Balaji have met him. His name is Asif Ali. He's from Coimbatore. He's a gem worker who does the gem work in Goripani. See, he gave me some insight into the whole struggle itself. Ayya, he speaks very good Tamil. Ayya, இஸ்லாமியர்களுக்கு ஒரு லீடர்ஷிப் கொடுக்கறதுக்கு யாருமே நீங்க யாரோ ஒரு இயக்கம் ஒரு இது வந்து ஏதோ பண்ணுது அப்படின்னு சொன்னா நாங்க எல்லாரும் he took the 1/8 size, half of this size leaflet that we brought on Gaza, developed into a A3 size and went round every masudi and pasted it and typed the entire, and it was in Urdu. He took a scanned photo of this Urdu leaflet and sent it in WhatsApp, and that's how we got 2,500. Nothing else. It was mostly young people coming. And he said, PFI did not do, SDPI did not do, nobody did. So there is a political vacuum. So like the Sengudis and Muthukumars have felt, there is a political vacuum in the general arena. People who are attacked, who feel that they are being attacked everywhere, especially Muslims are being attacked. Whether it is in Palestine, or in US, or in UK, or in Sri Lanka, or in India, everywhere Muslims feel they are being attacked. So naturally there is an anger in their minds. And we Tamils can find a common cause with them. We need to identify, and we need to link our struggles with them. And I think if we give a correct leadership, if we give a correct program, I think we can build a movement on the question of the nationality itself, on the question of police atrocity itself. In this city, a very good fighting spirit can be mobilized if the Tamils in this country, this particular city, because we are attacked here. I remember during the Kaveri struggle, because in a very small way we did our own this thing, we questioned the attacks on the Tamil construction workers, and at that time we were not even known, we were just a paper. So on my wall, on my home wall, some Kannadigas, because the one Muslim who was having a house there, was chased away. His house was, his shop shutters were ransacked, and he was driven away from my area in Sri Lanka. And we questioned that, we stood and questioned that, as not as an organization, even as individuals. And on that night, somebody did a wall writing on my house. In Kannada, they wrote, I don't know what you call in Tamil, Tonnu hidida Tamila Uru bidu. See, that's the kind of this thing, because I'm very much rooted in Bangalore, I could withstand that particular onslaught. But we are an attacked minority in this city. We are an oppressed minority in this city. We have to stick together. We have to come together. And as Rajan Ayya mentioned, that we have to voice our political, maybe limited, but limited political demands as to how we can defend ourselves. And I completely agree with my senior brother that we need to voice our struggle in relation to the Tamils in Bangalore, Tamils in Karnataka, how we have to unite our forces. I may belong to New Socialist Alternative, Rajan Ayya may be in Katamai and others in other organizations. But when it comes to attacks on us, whether it is a question of Kaveri or any other issue, we need to come together. And for that, the question of struggle against the death penalty gives us a common rallying point, because it is our brothers. It's our brothers who are going to be hanged in the coming. Who are likely to be hanged in the coming future for the crime that they did not commit. As Balaji was very right. How many? Even today. My daughter. The other day I sent her to buy a what you call that battery cell for one of some gadgets. She did not bring a receipt. Who gives a receipt? And when I sent it to her, I was thinking, what if I was what was his name? The famous Sivarasan? What if I was a Sivarasan? Tomorrow my daughter may be set up for a crime that she did not commit. So, it's a ridiculous argument that Peda Rivalan and Shantan Murugan were accomplices in Rajiv Gandhi's assassination. We are sorry. We are sorry that Rajiv Gandhi died, but we are not sorry. We are not really sorry. If the question of being sorry for Rajiv Gandhi's death comes to picture, he uttered a word that killed 3006 in Delhi. He just one word, one statement during the just before the Delhi riot. He just said, something, and the entire Delhi burned, and 3006 were killed. And he had no experience in the economy of this country, or how to run the economy. Not even the limited knowledge that his grandfather had, so-called Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru had. And he changed the policy of the economy from a welfare-minded economy to a neoliberal economy. And many of us lost jobs. I lost my job, and I was sacked because I questioned that particular policy of Rajiv Gandhi. I wrote an article, and I was sacked from central government department. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry because he died. He changed the very outlook of this country. But of course, the way he died, I might not have liked. He should have died like who died recently, Anantamurthy or somebody, after being 60 or 70 or 80 or 90 years, he should have died. But he died. The way he died, we are sorry, but not because he died. And he has left behind such ideas in this country which will live for long, which are pernicious ideas, very wrong ideas, either economic or social or political ideas that are very dangerous to the very concept that these people say that this is a secular thing, you know. No, this is not. I mean, many may criticize Modi or Advani, I mean, who are known culprits. But Rajiv Gandhi was a very hidden guy who had his own communal agenda in this country. I mean, communalism is not just communalism against the Hindus or one particular religion. If my language is not given the rightful place in this particular union, I consider that as communalism. If the Tamils and the Kannadigas and the Andhrites and their job and their economy and their life, their land is not taken care of, that is communalism. If the northern rich class rules on us and takes all our land, water, resources to themselves and also pledge it to the foreign multinationals, that is communalism for me. I mean, for me, communalism has a very big scope. It's not just Modi or Advani's communalism. Yes, that's a very blatant kind of communalism. But these people are also communal. In their own way, they are communal. And they have sown the seeds for further deep-rooted communalism. It's I was just writing today. I mean, for example, this particular, what is his name? Modi's recent change of policy that he is doing away the planning commission and the planning 5-year planning schemes. It's a very dangerous thing, you know. I mean, as people, fighters for various other causes, we must take up this issue. Because it was not the forefathers of this particular country, I mean, or the constitution, who built or who wrote the constitution. They adopted the Soviet model not because of anything else. Soviet Union at that particular point of time achieved fantastic results in relation of tackling with the poverty, the tackling with the famine, and also during the time when 21 imperialist armies were attacking the Soviet Union, when it was a very, very small, very childlike state, it was attacked by the 21 armies. It was the planning, it was the 5-year planning, Soviet 5-year planning, that dealt with the poverty in that country and achieved fantastic results in production. And that was the model that the earlier policy makers of this country adopted. If there is an attack on that, and that is going to affect the poor of Tamil poor, affect the Kannadiga poor, affect the Hindi poor. And I think we need to find a common cause in exposing. And that particular seed of today, it's completely neglected. Now Modi, he can throw away the entire concept of planning, not because of anybody else. It is the Rajiv Gandhis, it is the Indira Gandhis, it is the P.V. Narasimha Rao's, it is VP Singhs who gave the necessary credibility that the planning is bad, planning is not good, welfare state is not good. And that kind of atmosphere was created by them. And today, Modi is very free. And did you see any communist parties making a protest outside against when the planning has been attacked? Facebook. Yeah, everybody is a Facebook revolutionary these days. And they wrote something. In People's Democracy, there was a big article. But nothing. I would have been happy if the Communist parties had given a general strike call on the issue of planning being attacked by Modi. No, it did not happen. But it's going to have a disastrous effect on the working people of this country. Irrespective of the language or the region, it's going to have a very dangerous effect. We will all be beggars if that comes into real force. You know? And that is the completion. That's what I titled completion of conspiracy. It's a completion of conspiracy set out by Rajiv Gandhi and Indira Gandhi in the 1970s. Now it's complete. So I think to find a common cause of fight, we need to find many points in relation to our fight. And for us, I mean, I completely believe that the struggle against death penalty, struggle against for the repeal of the death penalty, the Tamil 3 gives us that kind of a weapon to go and talk to people, go and find a common cause with other struggling sections of this society, and that way build up a struggle. Thank you for people.